Welcome back. Now, physiotherapy is a critical service that supports recovery and enhances quality of life, and its importance doesn't take a break even during the holidays. Joining us now is Jenna Musakanya, an occupational physiotherapist, to discuss the role of physiotherapy in improving well-being, the challenges and achievements of the profession, and how these essential services remain accessible during the festive season. Jenna, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening, Joanna. How are you?
It's Nina, actually, and I'm well, thank you. And yourself?
I'm fine. My apologies for that. How are you, Nina?
Good, can't complain, no problem. Well, just to start with, Jenna, how would you reflect on your experiences, working with patients over the past year?
My year was extremely busy, as I had to deal with a lot of cases related to musculoskeletal dysfunction, which is what I primarily deal with. So I noticed that quite a number of members of the public are now better informed on what physiotherapy services are about. And I've also appreciated the importance of, skills such as soft skills, empathy, active listening, which form an integral part of developing my patient outcomes. So my year has been quite eventful. Thank you for asking.
And talk to us about some of the main causes of injuries or conditions that you worked on with your patients this year in 2024.
Okay, so I can say that although I don't have the exact statistics to make my response more accurate, I can say with confidence that the main causes of conditions referred to our physiotherapy practices were more of neuromusculoskeletal dysfunction. Then second in incidence were chest conditions such as emphysema, bronchitis, asthma, and others as well. Mm-hmm. So neuromuscular dysfunction is a big word, and this means that it's a problem that causes muscle, joints, and nerves not to function in the way that they are supposed to. So within that category of neuromuscular dysfunction, we have possible specific causes that lead to that, such as an example is traumatic injuries from road traffic accidents and occupational accidents.
Mm-hmm. Jenna, do you mind drawing the distinction for us between what a physiotherapist is and what an occupational therapist is?
Yes. Although the two overlap in working together, they are very distinct roles. So the decision to see a physiotherapist or an occupational therapist really depends on the client or the patient needs. So physiotherapy is often used when a physical injury or condition affects movement or physical dysfunction, while occupational therapy is often used when one is struggling with daily tasks due to physical, cognitive, or sensory issues. Mm-hmm. So I could give you an example of when to see an occupational therapist.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, so you can see an occupational therapist when you have trouble with your fine motor skills, trouble with remembering names or faces, if you have a physical disability or you're recovering from an illness or operation. You can also see a physiotherapist when you have pain while sitting, when you have mobility issues, when you have trouble urinating. But in many cases, Nina, a combination of both therapies may be the best approach.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. How accessible are physiotherapy and occupational therapy services in Namibia, Jenna?
I can safely say that the accessibility of physiotherapy has improved greatly in the past couple of years. So there have been, so far, 3 cohorts of graduates from the University of Namibia. So hence the access to the service has improved. But physiotherapy is still greatly inaccessible in most parts of the country, including urban areas. But with that being said, if you do possess a medical aid, You can just pop in to see your physiotherapist with or without a referral, because physiotherapists are trained as first-line practitioner staff. So if a physiotherapist assesses you and feels that the condition is not within their scope of practice, they will quickly refer you to the next line practitioner, such as a doctor, a psychologist, or a physician. So it is wise to call on your medical aid and ask how much of the physiotherapy benefit you have to either cover yourself or your family.
Lastly, Jenna, where can people access physiotherapy services, especially during the festive season?
The Namibian Society of Physiotherapy has published a list of physiotherapists who will be open during this festive season, Nina. So the physiotherapists will be covering all major hospitals and all high care units this festive season.
Madam Jenna Musakanya, thank you so much for your time this evening, and thank you for joining us here on the Daily Roundup with Nina.
Thank you so much, Nina.
Well, on that note, we've also come to the end of this evening's program. We're back, of course, next week, Monday, 6 p.m.